Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Warning, this video may contain positivity. You can tell by the title, by the thumbnail perhaps. And I know you're thinking, well, who's joining you today for the positive part? Ha ha ha, very funny. No one, it's just myself. But to be fair, when we started this channel, we said we'd always be honest, and that's why I always am. I'm just honest, and if it comes across as negative, then unfortunately my honest opinion is negative. But when you're 17th at the table, there's not too much to be positive about. However, in the interest of fairness and in balance, and remaining true to myself, because on Tuesday, up until a certain point in the game, I was happy with what I saw. And even at full time, I thought there was still stuff to be positive about. So I thought I'd do a video about it, just for a little bit of fun, for a little bit of feel good. I might even inject some faith in you by the end of this video. And myself, actually. I might convince myself. So, good news though. My hairdressers is opening up again soon. I got a text this morning to say that we can now book in. So I texted back and got an appointment. So I had to phone my friend. I said, hey Jude, cancel my application for the Beatles. The haircut is on its way. It's still another month away, so I've still got a couple of inches of this uncontrolled, uncultured hairstyle. It's Friday, that's all that's good news. Results are going our way. Watford just got beat by Burnley, which I thought they'd get something from that game, actually. Not good for Watford, although I still think they'll be okay. Villa failed to win against Newcastle. Bournemouth got beat. Callum Wilson got booked, so he now misses the next two games as well. So things are going well for West Ham. Away from West Ham. Andy Carroll was involved in Newcastle's goal. I mean, he's got more goal contributions for West Ham in the last few weeks than an actual striker of West Ham has. I mean, like, here we are. We released him a year ago, and here we are still relying on Andy Carroll to come back from injury and help us out, which is in a different colour strip now. But anyway, on to Tuesday's game. Right, this is all about Tuesday's game. And there's one or two things at the end which are not necessarily positivity. They're more observations that can be turned into positivity. Hopefully it makes sense as we go. So the first thing is the formation. Now this is the biggest thing for me. We played 4-3-3 against Spurs and I love it. 4-3-3 is my favourite formation. I do actually think we've got the personnel at West Ham that best suits this formation as well. But I do think in 2020, 4-3-3 is a formation you can play and you can come up against pretty much any other formation and you'll be alright. You'll have to adapt and tweak it per game, per opponent. But when you're writing names down on a bit of paper, 4-3-3 is how it looks. I believe that you can attack in various ways, whether you're camped outside the box, you've got enough there to get players in, spread out if you're counter-attacking, it's the right formation for that. I just believe 4-3-3 is the way we need to be playing between now and the end of the season. So I was really happy to see us play it. How we played it, it could do with tweaking. But I do think it's the blueprint for the rest of the season. I hope to see 4-3-3 for pretty much every other game. And the large part of that is it gets Jared Bowen in his best position. I didn't understand why when we played Wolves, we had him on the right of a four in midfield. Because he's got too much defensive duties to do. He's got too much ground to get from where he is when we receive the ball to an attacking position. It's too far for him to run. It takes too long for him to get there. We need him closer to the striker and higher up the pitch. We bought him from Hull as a right winger of a front three. Why would we not play him there? 4-3-3 allows us to get arguably our best attacking player in his best position, which is where we're going to see the best of him. So he is a big part of the preference for me for playing 4-3-3, and I was pleased to see it. And I thought he did really well on Tuesday. I thought Jared Bowen was brilliant. On another day, he gets a goal, that shot that hit the post. But he just oozes confidence. I say oozes it. He's not that much, but he looks confident. He looks comfortable on the ball. He looks like hungry. He wants the ball. And that's pleasing because not every player currently does. I thought Declan Rice was superb on Tuesday. We've got 7 games left this season. I think we've got 7 games left with Declan Rice. I mean, that's not a surprise to anyone. I think a lot of people are expecting him to leave. But every game we play now, you just watch and you think there's no way he's going to be here at West Ham. Even if we stay up, I can't see him being here. He's too good for us. He's ready to go to one of the Champions League clubs and compete for medals and stuff. And good luck to him. So enjoy him while it lasts. Centre backs were all right, I wrote down here, because mainly Balbuena, really. The last game he played for us was against West Brom in the Cup, and he was horrendous. Saturday comes round and we've moved Declan Rice into the centre back, even though Balbuena's on the bench. There's a clear message there, which is the manager doesn't trust you. But he comes back in against Spurs. I thought he'd done well, bar the second goal, I thought he'd done well. I thought him and Diop had a lot of defensive duties to do, and I thought they managed it fine. The centre backs I'm happy with. We've also got O'Brien coming back, but Balbuena and Diop look decent against Spurs. I'm good. I'm happy with them too. Ideal position for Fornals, I've wrote down. That's obviously not where Fornals played. This is where it needs tweaking. The 4-3-3 worked to an extent, but I think we had the wrong players in the wrong positions for a couple of them. We created the perfect position for Pablo Fornals. Unfortunately, we put Martin Noble there, and we put Fornals on the left wing. He's not a left winger. He's not fast enough to play that role. He's too slow defensively, and he's too slow offensively. When you get the ball and you're going to be in a defensive position, you've got 3 front players. Ideally, you want one guy already up there. You want 2. You can get up the park pretty quick. Bowen can do that. Fornals can't. It's not his fault. He's just not quick enough. However, we created this. I'm aware now I'm talking as if it's a 4-2-3-1, but that's part of the good thing about 4-3-3. It can become a 4-2-3-1. It can become a 4-5-1, whatever. But we had this role for Mark Noble, which is such a... It's almost like a blessing of a role. A luxury role, if you like. It's almost like a free one, essentially, where you can go where you want. You don't have defensive duties per se, because Rice and Solchek are doing that. So you've got to come back a little bit. You can go to the right, you can go to the left, you can go wherever you want. I think that's where we would see the best of Pablo Fornals. And I think if we see the best of Pablo Fornals, I'll get a bit excited, because I do rate him. I've tried to defend him as much as possible during the season, because I think there's a guy there that gives 100%. I think he's technically a very good footballer. Does he have the pace or the power for the Premier League? Not really, but either does David Silva. Now, I'm not saying he's as good as David Silva. My point is there's a space for players like Pablo Fornals in the Premier League, but you have to work around him. You cannot put him into a position which requires pace and power and get a bit annoyed that he's not demonstrating pace and power. He's just not got it. But if we can get if we were to choose this team, remove Mark Noble, and move Pablo Fornals into there, we will see a much better Pablo Fornals. Who goes left wing, I don't know. We don't have one. Anderson, Lanzini, Yarmolenko, Antonio, there's pros and cons for each of them, and unfortunately at the minute the cons are outweighing the pros for pretty much all the individuals, so I'm not sure who goes there, but it can't be Fornals. It just cannot be him anymore. Chelsea's our next game. Wouldn't be the worst game in the world to have Fornals on the left, because Azpilicueta isn't the fastest right back. He's still quite attacking though, and he's hard in the tackle, so I don't think Fornals would particularly fancy going up against him. But it'd be good to get someone out there and get Fornals into this number 10 role where we should see the best of him. I wrote down effort as well, and I'm talking about the starting 11 on Tuesday. I don't think they were all good enough. I think there was some players in there that just weren't good enough. I've already mentioned one of them, Martin Noble. I don't think Fredericks is good enough. He gives me the fear every time I have to defend. But I thought they both tried, just like the other 9 that started the match. I have no issues regarding effort. I thought that's partly the reason why some of the players were knackered, because they're just giving everything on the pitch. And at the minute, there's no more you can ask for from the players. You've then got to look at the manager. I don't want to say this because I'm trying to keep it positive, but you've got to look at the manager for a bit of help, a little bit of assistance once those players get tired. But the effort is there, and that's a good thing. I've just watched Watford tonight against Burnley, and while I think Pearson got the 11 wrong, he messed up not playing Decore. No idea why he's done that, but we'll take it as a West Ham fan. But for the last 20 minutes or something, bearing in mind they're a goal down, I was quite surprised at Watford's lack of intensity. Not a bad thing for West Ham fans either. Villa had it against Newcastle. They were 1-1, throwing the kitchen sink at Newcastle. Watford didn't have it tonight. And I'd be a bit worried if I was a Watford fan, actually, after watching that game. So I thought the effort was there on Tuesday. We replicate that throughout the rest of the season, we will pick up results. But the problem is, your effort tends to have a correlation with your confidence. If your confidence is at ground floor 0, your effort can wane, or it's misused. Like Antonio misuses his energy, doesn't he? He runs about too much. You see him chasing balls he's never going to get, but he runs after it anyway. And then 10 minutes later, you see him panting. You think, well, if you weren't running about after pointless things, you'd be all right. But the effort was there. I put half chances. Now this is where it gets a little bit clutchy, but I did think we created 3 decent chances against Spurs. Where on another day we might score one of them. Antonio was unfortunately not a striker, and that showed for that pass which Declan Rice created. Jared Bowen hit the post and Pablo Fornals fluffed it. Either one of them gets a bit more luck or they're a bit more composed and better execution, we score. Completely different game altogether. And clearly Harry Kane's goal was the best chance of the match. But you could argue that we had the second best chances of the match. So we're creating stuff. It's just about putting them away now. Now this is where it gets a little bit, no more positivity, but it's more about observations at the minute. Now I'm going to try something here. I'm just going to pull up on the screen here. Right, this is Jared Bowen's heat map from the Tuesday night game, because this is going to lead into something that annoyed me. This is good. This is a good heat map for Jared Bowen. So that bright blue spot is where he was the most, where he touched the ball the most, which is right wing. That's his natural position. That's where we want to see him. He's done a little bit of defensive work. He's got in the opposition box a little bit, but mainly he's occupied where he should be on the park. That's good. The only reason I'm showing this is to compare it to the other guy, which is Pablo Fornals, who is on the left. His heat map is a little bit different, isn't it? Not just because he's on the left instead of the right, because it's well balanced between left wing and left back. And that was a concern for me on Tuesday. I thought he was playing left wing back. He was practically pinned into playing next to Aaron Creswell. Creswell was tucking in and playing as a left centre back. I could have went and got his as well, but I thought 2 was enough. But Creswell's heat map is, it looks like a left centre back. And a top left back would have took control of that. A top left back would have, because Aurier kept coming forward and it pushed Fornals back. And it's no surprise. If you watch Tottenham play Man United, they did it with Man United. It's just that Rashford just didn't run back and let Aurier go there and said to Luke Shaw, you're going to have to deal with him because I'm staying up here. A top left back would have done that. A top left back would have come over and said to Fornals, get out of here. What are you doing? Why are you playing here? Move. Either you go further forward and then Souček is going to have to come back and take Lucas, who Aaron Creswell's naturally marking, who's tucked in at this point, or go take Lucas yourself, Pablo. I will stand here at left back so that when we get the ball, you're now 10 yards ahead of where you currently are. This frustrated me. It was too much defensive duties on the left wing in a 4-3-3 formation. You've only got, in the 4-3-3, you've only got 3 dedicated forwards. So the last thing you want to do is have one of them spending most of his time defending. It's not right. I mean, I say most of the time, but it's half the time. Look at it. You can see the heat map, the blue. It's slightly lighter in the left midfield position, but it's not that much lighter. Just to quickly flash, I've turned myself off here. I've turned myself off. My ex used to do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's the Jared Bowen one. Right midfield. Jared Bowen one there. Look how bright that is. That's what Fornals should be looking like. So that's just merely an observation where there's a vast room for improvement. And I don't think it's that difficult to solve. That can be fixed for the next game like that. Sorted. A simple instruction for Aaron Creswell. A simple moving of Pablo Fornals and getting someone into the left wing position who can do what Jared Bowen's doing on the opposite side of the pitch. And the last 2 things I've got, I'm going to be quick with these ones. One, Sebastian Aller's back soon. Now, while that's not just him coming back, it's a positive. The formation we're playing, the 4-3-3. At Frankfurt, he played in a front 3. They got the best out of him in his career thus far. He was in a front 3 with Rebic and Jovic. Just look at what Frankfurt done and try and replicate it here. We don't have a Jovic. We've got some players are not too dissimilar to Rebic, but we don't have a Jovic. That's fine. But how did they get the best out of Sebastian Haller? Can we use Jared Bowen and someone else to get that at West Ham? The answer is yes. It's just going and looking. The only issue is at Frankfurt they played a 3-4-3, and Kostic, the left midfielder, was a huge part of Haller's success. We cannot do that. We just can't do it. Creswell, Masuaku, they're not good enough. Kostic is one of the better players in the Bundesliga that doesn't play for Munich or Dortmund. He's one of my favourite Bundesliga players. None of our players are that good and that can play on the left, so ignore that. But how did they get the best out of him in the front 3? And let's get that out of our striker. He cost 45 million. You can't just discard that. Last one, substitutions. I'm not going to moan about them. It's an opportunity for improvement. It's a big area, and I do genuinely believe if Moyes sorts the subs, starts utilising them correctly, if he'd done that the last 2 games, we might have points on the board. We might have 1, might have 2, might have 3, I don't know. But I feel, especially Tuesday, the game was there for the taking. I do think a manager utilising his substitutions better would have fancied winning that match. Should we then sort this attitude towards subs between now and the Chelsea game, now and the Newcastle game, it gives us a bigger chance of picking up points in these matches. No manager does it in the Premier League yet. I'm not seeing anyone do it yet, and I don't get it. You've got 5 subs. I don't know why teams are waiting until the hour mark to make their first sub. If it's not working, to be fair, until the hour mark in both West Ham games it has been working, that's fine. But if we go 2 goals down against Chelsea after half an hour, do not wait till half time. Make the sub on the half hour mark. Yes, you're going to piss someone off, but you can be a bit more proactive with 5 substitutions. You don't need to wait until the second half anymore. I don't know. Just how I see it anyway. I just think it's an opportunity. Anyway, there we go. There's my half-hearted attempt at being positive. But I do generally believe everything I've said. I do think information is a big plus, and I hope we stick with it. Bowen and Rice were excellent against Spurs. I thought Rice was excellent against Wolves as well. But Bowen wasn't in his best position against Wolves. He was against Tottenham, and we saw the difference. We have to stick with that. Them 2, Fabianski, them 3, the first 3 names on the team sheet in those positions. Then let's work out from that way, and we can do this. We can stay up. It's all about survival now. We probably need 9 points in the next 7 games, and we do have some winnable games on paper. I'm convinced by that. Newcastle away, they don't look that great. Norwich away, Burnley at home, Watford at home, Villa at home. We've got to get points against these teams, plural. I'm practically writing off Chelsea, Man United here, but the other 5 games we've got to get 9 points from somehow. There's enough there to suggest we might just do it. I'm still 50-50 in the relegation thing. Still 50-50. But I had a little bit of hope on Tuesday. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're around here, and I shall catch you very soon.